afternoon, and welcome to Indigo's Oracle on SPTV, or Spiritual Psychics TV, as we like to be known. First of all, thank you so much for waiting for me. I'm afraid I had some technical issues. This is my first broadcast back after the winter holidays, and unfortunately my computer just didn't want to play ball. So thank you so much for waiting. Second thing to say is thank you so much for those who have supported me. I was a bit poorly over the Christmas period, and so many messages of love, support and healing. So I really, really appreciate that. I have missed working with Spirit. I've missed working with you wonderful souls, and I've missed working on Spiritual Psychics TV, but I always have a break around winter because it's my low energy time. I do have not so much anymore, but in the past I suffered, or I don't really like the word suffered, but I had the situation of SAD where when the sunshine goes, my smile drops a bit. But so far so good. I've been focusing on being creative, which I love, and that's what I'd recommend for anyone who's having a difficult time right now. Is just find something, even if it's baking a cake or making a nice recipe for tea, just something that makes you feel like you're making a difference in your physical world. It makes everything a little bit better, a little bit gentler. So I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Indigo Creative Clairvoyant, also known as Indigo Starseed, and you can find my information on Facebook. Also, I'm on Indigo's Oracle on Instagram, various other places, just search away. But the most important thing is that I'm here on behalf of Spiritual Psychics TV to bring you comfort, a little bit of healing, because that's what we do as psychics and mediums. People kind of miss that, but also a little bit of direction when you're feeling a bit lost. So I'd love to say hello to the people who are watching. So if we can just say hello. Hello, Cameron. Lovely to see you. Nice to see you here. I can't see your beautiful face because we've got a C there, but I'm absolutely certain you've got a very wide smile. I can feel it with you. Hello, Sally Worker. Thank you for saying about my hair. I had coloured extensions fitted literally 2 days, 3 days before we got locked down again. So I'm very glad, because it just makes me feel a bit happier having a bit of colour around me. Colour is very, very important. Hi, Stace. Haven't seen you for some time. I have been hiding away, so sorry about that for folks. But I do think about you all the time. Hi, Christine Marius. So the lovely rainbow. So the rainbow is courtesy of our dear producer, Mr. Richard. He has designed this wonderful backdrop for me with the little angel wings, which just make me feel a bit, they make me feel a bit cheeky, really. I think I'm probably a fairy wing rather than angel wing, but I'm not sure. Maybe you can make a decision. Hi, Lynn. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate being here. That's lovely. Hi, Sam. Oh my gosh, and thank you for everything you've been sharing of my work. That I kind of like been bombarding social media this weekend, because I've launched my first collection of jewelry in many years, and virtually sold out. I've got 4 pieces left, so I'm incredibly blessed, grateful, and just feeling so excited about that. Thank you. Hello, Diamond Deb. Lovely to see you here. Hello, Cheryl. Oh, so lovely to see you here as well, darling. I just feel like I'm kind of being reunited with friends in the pub. It's such a lovely feeling. Missed you all so much. Hi, Lauren, and thank you for all you do for me, darling. You're really great support, both physically and mentally. So thank you so much. It really makes a difference. Hi, Pamela. How are you doing? I like your hairstyle. You've gone, is it red or pink? I can't quite tell, but I really like it. It's bringing your eyes out, as they say. Hi, Gary Walker. I've not met you before. Nice to meet you here. So those of you who've met me before, I'm Indigo, and I am a psychic and a medium. I don't do so much mediumship on here. I do touch on it sometimes, but there's other people here on SPTV that cover that remit. But what I really like to say is that I believe you can read anything. Hi, Siobhan, I've missed you. I've missed you so much. You can read absolutely anything. So today I'm going to do something quite simple because it's my first day reading since the 14th of December. So I have put my cards down, I've put my crystal ball down. None of it's been touched. I haven't even spoken about anything spiritual other than my uploading of my information at the weekend. So, hello, nature lover. I remember you from the last broadcast at Christmas time. So it's purple. Thank you, darling. Sometimes the colour just doesn't translate so well on the computer. So purple is a very good colour and certainly my favourite. So when I was off, I had a magazine delivered, which I've had for some time, just to perk me up a bit. And I've got guiding star oracle cards. Now, I haven't really been through these, so it's going to be interesting. They did come through with my magazine, and I really like the fact they're guiding stars, because part of my blurb, if you go on my website or my Facebook, my website's actually being built, so it's not quite there yet. But part of my blurb is that, you know, let me be the guiding star showing you the way, because sometimes we have these positions in life, and even psychics and mediums have it also, where we just feel like we can't really see the woods for the trees. We can't really see the direction forward. One thing I will say, and I really want to share this with you right now, is that sometimes things don't go as planned, they go better. And the resistance that we put against things actually is kind of like a wasted energy, a wasted vitality of your human self. I very much believe that we have a spirit being in our human self. And for me, the spirit being is far more important. The light within us is far more important. On that note, I think we're going to do a very gentle grounding to begin with, just because it's been some time. And I know people are worried. I know there's so much going on in the world. It doesn't help that there are people out there who really like to share things that are quite scary, I suppose. So maybe consider what you're putting in your eyesight. Maybe consider what you're taking in, because remember, and this is really, really important, so many philosophers, ancient and modern, agree that your thoughts create. So please, please try and have a mindset of compassion, of love, of if it happens, we need to deal with it. But right now, we're not in the position our great-grandparents and grandparents in some cases were. So please feel that it's okay. It's okay. It's not great. It's not fantastic. Some people it might be, but it's certainly okay. Hi, Sarah Batten. Thank you for being here. I don't know if I missed someone a moment ago. Hello, Christine. Eileen, I did see her name and I worked with Eileen and it was an absolute pleasure. So thank you for joining my students. That was amazing. So what I'd like you to do is just close your eyes, feet on the floor if you can, please. Nice deep breath into the lungs, filling up the lungs of just that vitality, that air that we breathe, this free thing that's all around us. And when people say they don't believe, remember, we can't see air. We might be able to scientifically prove it, but we can't see air. So you believe something that's around you all the time that you can't see. So just know that of the spirit world also. So 3 nice deep breaths, 1 deep breath to center back to your spiritual self, to the center of your human being. And a 2nd deep breath to let go of any worries, any concerns, anything that's not suiting you, fitting you, anything that you're concerned about in the future. Let's be present in this moment. And then a 3rd deep breath, bringing ourselves back to the solar plexus, to the center of our spiritual being, back to that lovely bright light that's within us. And I'd like you to imagine that you have roots going down from your legs, through your feet and into the ground below you. These roots are gentle. They can be energetic. They can be physical roots, whatever you want to imagine. They are comfortable and everything is fine with them. These roots go down, down, down through the earth, through the earth, deep, deep down, down into the earth. And as they reach a stone, it suddenly feels quite cold to touch. You investigate this stone and you realize it's a hematite, this lovely, shiny, gunmetal, grey, silvery stone that's cold to touch but feels so secure, feels so safe. And as you wrap your roots around this stone, you know that you're anchored into this world. You know that you're anchored into this experience. You know that you are safe in this present moment. This stone comes to remind you to be present. And whenever you're going into the state of anxiety of what's coming in the future, remain back into that present energy. You are here, you are safe, and all is well. For all we can do in these moments of uncertainty is know our human self and our spiritual self, and know our present moment, our present breath, our present experience. That which was before we can compare to, but things don't stay the same. They always change and evolve. So allow the energy to change, allow yourself to change, and allow your mindset to change in whichever direction you choose. For we all have choice, and that is a really, really precious thing. I'm not saying we have choice around the world, but I believe most people who have tuned in today are in position of choice. So once you feel that security, that feeling of warmth, that feeling of feeling anchored, that feeling of knowing everything is going to be okay, I'd like you to take that feeling, that warmth, that glow, back up into your roots, through your feet, into your legs, and fill your entire body with this silver grey glowing like metallic liquid. I say liquid because it's easier to fill the body, but you may wish it to be stone still. It's just this energy of feeling safe, grounded, and all is well. So when you're ready, if you'd like to just slowly wiggle your fingers and toes, open your eyes and come back into the room, and hopefully I've given you a little bit of peace for a few moments. Okay, I'd love to know what you experienced, and very shortly I shall move on with my first readings for 2021. I'm looking forward to this. My guides are just so close. I feel like I'm boiling, and I'm really, really excited. So I hope you are too. Hello, Rhonda Robertson. I'd love to know if people experienced anything beautiful, if you met a loved one in that moment. Sometimes these things happen when we have that relaxation, when we have that moment of just stilling the mind and going really into that spiritual energy. Our loved ones come close. Good afternoon, Janine. Thank you for being here. Hello, Kelly. Thank you for being here. So a couple of things to say before we proceed. If you'd like to invite any of your friends or family, we'd love them to come and join here. It's really important that SPTV grows, because not just for us, the readers, not just for the producer, but also so that we can reach those people that haven't been reached. I quite often have people say to me, you know, someone said to me to come and, you know, join your show or join your broadcast. I didn't realize how much that would actually change how I was feeling. And that's what it's about. It's about the viewer, it's about you, and it's not about us. We are just a messenger. Completely calm and beautiful white light. Wonderful, wonderful. That's what we want. Peaceful and warmth running through my body. Well, this is what we want. We want to bring more peace, because the thing with peace is it does help your immune system. So consider maybe a mixture of science and spirituality there. Thank you very much. So I'm going to read from these guiding star cards, but what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to ask me a question. Now, we don't cover romance, I don't cover fertility, health, finance, or legal. I believe that's the selection. We're not able to do that in the UK, and I don't do that as my own ethics also. So if you have a question and Mr. Producer's watching, maybe if he could flag up who has a question to the screen, that would be fantastic. And we'll move ahead in that oracle fashion today and see what there is to reveal. Now, know that the card might say something, but my guides might say something completely different. So do not worry whether your card is going to be right or wrong. That is completely irrelevant. Hi, Neelam. I'm a starseed too. We do attract each other. We very much do attract each other. And we seem to understand each other as well, Neelam. So maybe you understand me a bit more than... Am I a starseed? Oh, sorry. My reading is appalling. So yes, you are, because that's what I just said. I'm going to have some water, but I'm going to turn you a card, Neelam. Okay. The starseed thing is difficult, and part of the reason I've changed my business name is I was gifted in, I believe it was 2007 or 2008. I did a shamanic ceremony with my medicine woman teacher, and we asked spirit what my name was, my spirit given name, my soul name, my medicine woman name. And I was given the name Indigo Starseed. So it's not something I've chosen, it was chosen for me. Now, it was only, I think, about 5 years after that, that I actually realized Starseed was a thing. I sat down with a fellow reader, an energy worker, and she was trying to encourage me on my path because I kind of pulled back a bit. And she said to me, oh, and you are a starseed, aren't you? And I was like, what do you mean? And it's like, that's my name. And she said, you know, went into all this information about starseeds. So my understanding is that I believe at some point my soul, my spirit self was exchanged, because I'm not the person I was born into. Whether that's through my meditation development, changing my frequency, my vibration, it's possible. I'm a very, very different person to who I was. I used to be very angry. I used to be very defensive. I used to be someone who didn't like people. How can you believe that? And I dressed in punk clothes, and I had torn, I can't stand like torn clothes now. But, you know, my being is very, very different to a level that's quite unusual. I did experience when I was 16 or 15 a UFO at the back of my parents' house. My parents live in Warminster, which is a UFO epicenter. So I don't know my truth as of yet. I was talking to our dear Kirsty on the show about maybe doing some past life regression and seeing, or regression, and seeing if we can go back to that time and see what happened. Because the other very odd thing about this is that I remember being in a white room and having an injection to calm me down. I believe this was to do with my hospital experiences twice as a child for grommets. My mum said this never happened. So there's lots and lots of dots to join. And I feel everyone who inquires about being a starseed need to join their own dots anyway. But I do wonder when we send out a request, because I was very unhappy about my, I don't know why. I don't know why. My parents aren't unkind. They're lovely people. We had a different relationship when I was younger, but teenagers are a pain, you know, that's just the way it is. But I didn't want to be here quite a lot of my life. I just wanted to be somewhere else. And whether that someone answered that call is something I would like to find out. Only 2 years ago, I rented a room off someone to do my work when I was starting out on Facebook with my broadcasting. And this woman knew me as Indigo. She never knew my birth name. She came up to me about 2 weeks into me being there saying, "Oh my gosh, I've got a new guide, Indigo. I'm really excited." She worked with alien or extraterrestrials, people from outer space, whatever you want to call it, different vibrations. And she said to me, "I've got a new alien guide and her name's Amy. My birth name is Amy." So there's so many things. And also Polly Harnett on an open demonstration brought through my grandmother, and she said, "Yes, you are definitely dropped out of space," and so many things that join up. But I haven't quite made my own conclusion or decision on it, and whether I have to or not, I don't know. I don't know whether it's important. But what I want to say to you, Neelam, is if you're feeling interested in that, there's a reason that your spirit self is drawn to that subject. And maybe you look to the stars and you feel that the stars are home, because that's what I've done for many, many years. And people used to call me an absolute idiot for it, and I don't care. But I looked at Orion's belt, and that feels like the place that I belong. It doesn't feel like here is. I have now settled. Ever since we've been in this position where we can't move around so much because I'm very nomadic, I've now settled. So I'm now settled here. But before that, I would move around all the time. So there was always a different atmosphere and experience, and I wouldn't feel so lost. I also have a tattoo on my wrist, which is an Icelandic stave. Yeah, you can see it that way around. It twists when I don't do it that way around. And this is about never feeling lost again. It does have my Indigo Starseed star in it, which I was channeled over many, many years. My logo came. But I think it's really important to not feel lost. I think it's really important to feel okay and happy where you are, but it's also okay to look into who you are as a person. Absolutely, Neelam. And what I would say with regards to the spirit name, all you need to do, and I say all you need to do, for one, you could probably find something on another YouTube channel which will indicate that. But what you need to do is set your intentions, which is all spirit work is intentional or set by intentions. Set your intention, sit in meditation, and just ask and wait to receive. Traditionally, the Native American Indians, rather than give a name to their children, they would wait for a sign. So they'd wait for the black crow to come down, or they'd wait for the clucking hen to walk past. And it's very similar with your spirit name. It's just about waiting to receive, and it's about not feeling any pressure on yourself to receive. But the other way you can do it also is write a note to your spirit team, your spirit guides, or your family if that's what you choose. Put it under your pillow and then go to sleep with the intention of receiving that information. You'd be very surprised what you can receive in those moments. So I have got a card for you. I know I've read completely without the cards, but I have got this card for you. Let's see if we can not make it disappear. May the setting sun remind me of all I've accomplished in my day. So setting sun for me is about the west. It's a time of contemplation. Now, I'm in the UK, so our sun sets in the west. Contemplation, sometimes we need to look back on what we have done, look back on what we have achieved, and try and steer away from that which you haven't quite got round to doing. Let's try and steer around. I mean, even I've had lots and lots of time off. Unfortunately, I've been ill in that time. And there's so much I haven't done, including sending anyone Christmas cards. So Merry Christmas, everyone, because I would have done so. In retrospect, of course, it's not coming till next year now. But it's a case of we need to look at our achievements. We need to look at the steps we've made in life rather than looking at the things we've either not done so well or looking at the things we haven't quite got round to doing. So what I'd like to do, Neelam, for you is I'd like to put you in a position where you have a journal or a diary, and every day you're just writing a little note to yourself of your own achievements, of the things you've done, and whether that is the bravery of stepping outside into a public space. For some, that is a massive achievement. Maybe it is that you've learnt a new word. Maybe it is that you've read 10 pages of your book. Doesn't matter what it is, no matter how big or how small. It's about putting yourself into a position where you feel you're enough and you are doing enough. And that's what I want to give to you, Neelam. Thank you very much for working with me. I hope everyone enjoyed that. I know I went on a bit of a storytelling session, but that's another thing to be shared at another time. Thank you. One thing I do want to say, though, is that I do believe we all have our individual experience of this human life, of this earthly life. And I really don't want to dismiss anyone else's experiences. It's very easy to say someone's experience that doesn't sit well with you is possibly a mental health issue. Now, it can be, and we can't go into health, so I'm not going to go further into that. But what I want to say is, just because my world is the experience I have, doesn't mean your world has to be the same. I believe we coexist in lots of different experiences of this world, and possibly technology is one of the things that grabs the web and pulls us all together. So that's really beautiful. Cameron De Silva, I want to know how I can feel more uplifted and feel more filled with energy more often. So the energy thing, first of all, water, water, water. That's what they're saying to me. Second thing is check your diet. And I'm not saying about cutting out all the fun stuff. I'm not saying about like cutting out all the takeaways. You can eat what you choose, but you must eat in with balance, and you must eat all colours. So there's people out there that won't eat anything green. Well, actually, if you try a sugar snap pea, it tastes a lot different to lettuce. If you try an artichoke, it tastes a lot different to broccoli. So this idea of I don't like a certain coloured food really doesn't work. And this is what I want to bring to you, Cameron, because I want to bring you a nice rainbow of food. So I would like you to consider, I have done a course in nutrition, so I do kind of know what I'm talking about. I would like you to consider most meals that you're considering a rainbow of food. So it's something that's red, something that's orange, something that's yellow, something that's green. Indigo might be a bit difficult, but maybe you have some blueberries or some antioxidant fruit, because all purple fruit is antioxidant. And blue. Well, blue, what's your food's going to be blue? I don't know about blue. Maybe you can find a drink. But certainly the rest of the spectrum of colour is really important. I feel that part of your lacking of vitality is that you're not putting in the nutrients your body needs, okay? Feeling more uplifted, okay. The way to feel more uplifted is to put gratitude into your world. So I tend to be very thankful for the small things in life. If someone was to give me part of their chocolate bar, I would be hugely grateful for that part of that chocolate bar, to the same level as someone giving me £100. I'm not saying the £100 doesn't have value, but it's all about perspective. If you consider and count your blessings, which I actually did a post about this on social media today, if you consider and count your blessings, they become more and more and more. So it might be that you wake up and you see the sunrise and you're like, wow, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? That's one blessing. Then you might have a cup of tea or a coffee or a different drink, and you might think, oh, that tastes so good. That's a second blessing. We haven't even got dressed or had our breakfast yet, and there's two blessings. So what I'm trying to say is, instead of focusing on that which is dissatisfying you, focus on the pleasures in life. Sometimes it can be the most simple thing, like, let me think what I really enjoy. I love sitting around my hair wet in towels. Weird, I know, but I love just that feeling of coming out of a bath wrapped around towels. It's almost a bit like a sauna. I love saunas. And I just love that feeling of just naturally drying. But someone else might find that irritating or time consuming. So everyone has their own pleasures. Everyone has their own things that they enjoy. But that's what I want to bring: more creativity in your world, more diversity, more counting your blessings. This is the card for you, my darling. Cameron, may I shoot for the stars and be bold in my search to achieve my dreams. So what is it you've been saying, I wish I could? What is it that you said, I wish I could do that? Maybe it's psychic work, maybe it's spiritual work, maybe it's something completely different. I'm not 100% certain. But there's someone out there that you wish you could do what they do. And I'm here to tell you, you can. I am here to tell you, you can. My another post I think I did over the weekend was that sometimes you like see someone and you think, I wish I could be that person. I wish I could be like that. When I was in my early 20s, I went to a demonstration of mediumship in my local church, which I used to sit in circle and go to on a regular basis. I'm not religious, I've got to say that, but I do love the spiritualist churches and the spiritualist movement. For me, it's more a belief and a spiritual energy. Anyway, we'll go into that another day. But this lady was there, and I remember going up to her and saying, oh my gosh, that was amazing. I so want to be able to do what you do. Now, summer during lockdown, I've done a Sunday spiritual service every week. It's now every month. It's actually this Sunday, so I'm looking forward to that. But during these services, I had all these different psychics and mediums that I've known for years join in. And one day, this lady had a spirit friend come through. I believe it was her father and her husband, in fact. And she said to me, that was amazing evidence, well done. And that was a moment when I knew that anyone can do what anyone else does. You need patience, you need practice, you need perseverance, and in most cases, professional attitude. But whatever it is you want to do, start making those points, maybe 10 points a week or 10 points a month, and just start building yourself towards that dream. Because everyone out there that we admire and revere don't get there just from saying I wish. They get there from saying I wish, but with action. Okay? Lots of love there, Cameron. I hope that made sense for you. Thank you very much for being here. So I hope everyone's enjoying the show. I am a little bit nervous. I haven't been working in quite some time, but I am very much enjoying it. Hello, Jessica. I haven't seen your posts recently. You must start posting again. They were lovely. They were really lovely. It might be that I've just been hidden away from them because they like to show me people I don't want to see. Hello, Ruth Townsend. Lovely to see you here, and a lovely updated photo there showing your lovely face. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a lovely holiday time. Would you make a good Reiki teacher? Okay. I don't know why I'm scratching my top lip. This is interesting. Have I got someone with a moustache sitting with me? Okay. All right. Okay. He just said yes and he's bold. He really threw me off then. I was listening to my guides. Okay. All right. My guides say to you, Lauren, they say, whatever you want to master, you will be fantastic in. Okay. They don't want to specifically say Reiki because it feels like you've got so many interests. If you do want to go down the route of Reiki, you need to focus far more into that one subject. So they're saying not only doing the course, not only getting the qualifications, that's a tiny step. You need to connect with that energy on a regular basis. You need to trust yourself, which is the biggest step. I often say, as spiritual energy workers, because we are not, well, not spiritual, but energy workers, let's put it that way. We have to trust ourselves to trust our guides, and our guides will only trust us when we trust ourselves. If you consider a situation where you meet a new person, say at work or in a party, if you go up to someone and say, "Hello, I'm Indigo, it's nice to meet you," and you feel that confidence, that person in front of you will say, "Hello, I'm so-and-so, nice to meet you." And the likelihood is you'll have a connection. You might have a connection for minutes, for hours. You might have a lifetime connection. I met a friend who was teaching tarot. I've only ever been to one lesson, and it was out of curiosity. And I went there not knowing quite where I was going. My shaman teacher said to me, "What on earth are you doing that for?" And I said, "I'm guided to go there, so I'm doing as I'm guided." Well, I met a friend for life there. And I met her because I went in and said, "Hello, I'm Indigo, it's lovely to meet you." I didn't go in and quietly sit at the back or have a defensive attitude. So what I'm trying to say to you is, the moment you accept who you are, the moment you 100% accept who you are, and I'm 44, you know, I've got my bits of me that I don't particularly like, I've got bits of me that I do like, but I know that I'm comfortable in my skin because there isn't another skin. And if I want another skin, well, then I may need to make a decision of changing things in my life. But when you're settled and comfortable with you, then your journey with your spirit team will be so much more solid, and your journey with energy work will be so much more solid. And I really, really do feel that if you wanted to go further into Reiki, if you wanted to really study where it comes from, the ideas, the famous people who are involved in it, because I feel that to be a teacher isn't just learning content from a program and passing that on. I feel that it's more important that you really suck in like a sponge all the information you can around Reiki and energy work, and then you will be the most fantastic teacher is out there. Reiki is a difficult one because there's so many different ways that people are teaching, that people are learning. Some people take 3 years to qualify, other people take a weekend. I can't comment on that, it's none of my business. And I have done Tibetan Reiki, I've done a very short amount, but for me, I don't feel I need the symbols. It just doesn't fit for me, but it will fit for other people, and that's really important. But the knowledge and the storytelling you can bring with the Reiki, which makes it far more believable and interesting, I feel is where we're going forward. But I do feel there's a bit of a crossroads at the moment. And one thing I would say is, I do know Lauren's a medium in her own right and a psychic worker herself. You need to be very aware that healing and mediumship, yes, can go aside, but you must make it aware to your clients, one, that's a possibility, or two, that it's on offer. Not everyone who comes to Reiki will want mediumship or they'll want insight. Reiki is very much seen as a accepted complementary therapy. So you can reach people out there that wouldn't be reached normally, but you do need to separate the two, and you need to have discipline with that because it could cause you some trouble if not. I hope that made sense for you, Lauren. I'm just going to pull a card for you. Thank you for your questions. This is really lovely. So your card is, may I channel my angel guides to show me the right path to move forward. Well, there is angelic Reiki as well. Maybe that's something after you've done your course that you would like to dip into. But it's very interesting that the angel word is in this card. But I just feel you need to trust yourself more. It's like this figure is in the dark, but they're being shown the way. They're being very much shown the way. But you do need that, what I've just mentioned, which is the practice, the patience, the perseverance, and that professional attitude. Now, I know you've got a professional attitude, but I'm just reaffirming those 4 Ps because that's how I live by. All right. Thank you very, very much. And also crystals are also part of your journey. So the healing, the mediumship, and the crystals, you can always diverse? No, that's the wrong word. You can always make up, I've got to use a different word, it's dropped out of my head, your own therapy, okay? So it might be that you want to do Reiki healing aside crystal and angel therapy. Whatever you want to call it, it will be unique to you if you designed it. And there's no reason you shouldn't design it. All of the healers in, all these different practitioners, angel Reiki, Tibetan Reiki, Usuri Reiki, they were all created through spirit to a human, to this world. And there's no reason you can't do that. Buying crystals to create grids. Beautiful thing to do. Beautiful thing to do. Make sure you don't get too hooked into crystals though, because they're a bit addictive. So you might want to give yourself maybe some months that you don't purchase any, because I got to a point, I remember very vividly, I got to a point where every lunch hour I go out to this crystal stand and I would buy every single day a crystal, whether it be £1, whether it be £2, £5. And then I got to a point and I was like, I'm absolutely running out of money because I'm buying these crystals, and I was hooked. I was really hooked. So I hold back now. I've got my huge amethyst, which is the one thing I really wanted. And I hold back until, I really have that calling, but just be aware it can be very addictive. And I don't mean that in a health way. I mean it in a kind of OCD, behavioral, almost a muscle memory behavioral situation. First grid I was drawn to was new moon grids. Well, use everything you've got and make your own therapy is what I would suggest from my guides, okay? Thank you very much for working with me, Lauren, and thank you for all you do for Spirit World. It's fantastic. Question, do you ask your spirit guide what your soul name is? Sorry, I didn't hear what you said. Okay, so within my situation, I was working with my shaman teacher or my medicine woman teacher. That's another story. I could tell you her story, but it's a long-winded story, but it's amazing, absolutely amazing. One day she'll write a book and I'll share it with you. And she would smudge me because we use sage. I know Mr. Producer hates it, but she would use sage, and obviously be aware of your health conditions and asthma and things. Rather than using sage, you can use a selenite wand, which is a crystal, which is fantastic for cleansing. You can use intention and prayer also. You don't really need it. Or you could use sound. You could use tinctures or a rattle. Anyway, she smudged me, and then we sat into a meditation, and we set our intentions before we began to receive our spirit name. And then we went into a meditation. Now, it's not going to be something very easy if you don't do a lot of meditation, because you just need to go into a quiet space with that thought or that request, I suppose, rather than a thought, sent out, and then just sit and wait. And if it's ready, if the name is ready, it will come to you. It may well be that you see signs. It may well be that you suddenly look out the window and you see a glowing moon, and it might be your spirit name is glowing moon. I'm not suggesting that would be it, but it can be that way around. It can be something's drawn to your attention all the time. It maybe you're like really, really connected to a certain color or something like that. But if you're going to do it in meditation, you just need to sit and wait, and you might need to do it quite a number of times. But your name will come when it's ready. And to some degree, it's irrelevant. I use mine for business. Like I said, I dropped the Starseed just because so many people were contacting me about Starseed readings, and I don't actually do them. But I think the more important thing is that connection with your guides. So sitting with them anyway is really important. Okay, Pamela. I do like that photo. You look so happy. All right. This one's for you. Very similar picture to Lauren, if not identical. I will let go of my negativity like a glowing lantern into the night sky. So there might be things around you lately that you kind of felt a bit of distrust. You've been feeling a bit of personal attack is what the experience I'm hearing in my mind. There's things that are niggling you. There's things that are niggling you. Now, a lot of this comes from the past. It's experience from the past that for some reason have been triggered. What I'd like you to do, if you remember, Pamela, I'm not sure whether you were here when I did this, but I would like you to go into a meditation, and there's a desk there and there's a pen, and you write down every negative thought, every feeling about yourself, about others, about the world, about existence. And then you tie it to a balloon, and you tie it to the balloon, and you tie all these little bits of paper, and this balloon's got helium in it, so it's a good balloon, it's going to rise. And at that moment when you finished, you just say a little prayer. You just say a little prayer of thanks. You put your hands together. Doesn't need to be religious. Just thank you, just gratitude, whatever you want. Aho would be my choice. And as you put your hands together, that balloon just flows away with all those things attached to it. These words, this vibration, this feeling does no one any good. And what happens with these situations is they can grow. And I know this from personal experience. You know, there's part of me that thought no one would be here today. I've got to be completely honest, because I still have that lost child. I still have that girl that didn't fit in at school. I still have that situation where I don't understand everything everyone says or does. And that's going to be with me for a lifetime. But the important thing is to take note, put those imaginary feelings of fear or negativity in a place where you can just let go of them. Or you could also write them down on paper and burn them. That works really well as well. Thank you very much for being here, Pamela. So have we got anyone else with any questions at all, Mr. Producer? Hello. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. B. Lovely to see you. Okay. Hi, Alison. Oh, don't worry about being late. I was a bit late myself to my own party. Hello, Mulk. Oh, lovely to see you here. Thank you for your comments on my photographs. I found the most amazing light with my husband's. Thank you. Hi, Kelly McKeating. I feel this year will bring in great changes for me. What do you think? I think we're all going to change this year. I think, yeah, I'm going to do it as a general, because Mr. Producer's just said a few people are saying this. I do feel that there's obviously sadness, there's fear, there's serious, you know, negative things going on, and I can't negate that. But I have to live with a positive mental attitude, because it's the only way I can live my life with a smile. And smiles are good for your health, good for your immune system, good for other people you meet. They are really, really important. But what I do feel is I feel that we're in a place now where we understand that we took for granted that physical touch, that we took for granted that we could go down the cafe or the pub, that we took for granted that job that we maybe didn't particularly like that much and maybe moaned about. And hopefully that job is still there, but maybe in a delayed fashion. But I do feel that we're going to have more people turning to spirituality because more people are slowing down. More people are having time with their physical, spiritual self or spirit self because, like I said earlier, I mean, I was a nomad. I was in 3 different parts of the country in a week. And at one point, I was working 5 days a week for my employer and then driving to Milton Keynes for 2 12-hour, 10-hour shifts, I think they were, on television. And how did I ever have a chance to have a relationship with myself, let alone my guides, let alone my husband, let alone my daughter? So I do feel that things are really changing. I feel that our needs, our desires, our expectations are changing. But I do also feel that we can help ourselves. So, if you are feeling sad and lonely, put a message up. If you are feeling unwell, ask for healing. If you need some entertainment, ask someone to entertain you. There's so many people out there who are singers, who are comedians, who are actors that have not anything to do at the moment, or they have nothing to do at the moment. So, these people want to support. These people want to help you, but they need to be asked. So what I want to say to you is if you have a need, if you have a desire, follow it. If you have a desire to learn something new and you are on furlough, learn a new language. Do something with that time. Rather than lamenting what we had and what we have now, we must be in the present moment. And this present moment for some people is harder than others. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. My grandparents are gone. My grandparents work with me, but it's a case of, I would be incredibly saddened not to see them. Incredibly saddened. In fact, devastated is the word, really. But it's a case of we utilize what we've got. So use your communication skills, use your communication objects. If this had happened in the 80s, we'd barely have anything more than 5 channels, let alone the internet, let alone mobile phones. We are so blessed to be in this moment, in this experience. And I don't mean blessed for the experience. I've been blessed that we have the technology to communicate. I speak to my sister every single week in Australia. We play family games. Probably play more family games than I did when I lived next door to her in Bath. So I think it is really important to understand things are changing and they are changing individually. But I do feel it's really important that people start following their passions more. Start living a creative life. Now, when I say creative, I don't mean artistic. Creative can be someone who's into physics, and I don't know any of that at all, but you can still be creative with it. It's about using something that's within you to make something else, whether that's your mind, your body, or your spirit. Manifestation, that's what it's all about. So Kelly, I really feel with you that there is change in the workplace or within a working situation. I'm not sure whether you're working at the moment. I don't feel you need to worry about it. I feel that the most important thing right now is your family. And I feel that your family have always been your most important thing. So enjoy the time you have with them because it's not going to be there forever. And my daughter was 11 yesterday. Give it 7 years' time, she'll move out and I'll be like, I wish I'd spent time with her because now I've not got that. But it's really easy to wish away things that we realise in the future we wish we hadn't. All right, lots of love there. And this is your card as a collective, those who have been asking. The night sky helps me to look inside my soul and set intentions for the months to come. Well, that couldn't have been any more spot on to what I said before I read. So maybe we'll do readings before cards from now on. Maybe this is a way my guides wish me to work. Thank you, Kelly. I hope that made sense for those watching, and hopefully it gave others some ideas as well. Sometimes it's very easy to say, I'm not creative or I'm not artistic. Well, you might not be the most amazing artist and win the Turner Prize, but I'm sure we can all put our fingers in some paint and swirl some around and have some fun, eh? So we've got another question. New life begins from day one. Hello, hi dear. Oh, bless you, darling. You're struggling with life. Try and look on the positive way of things if you can. Maybe relook at the broadcast if you've just joined, because there's a grounding at the beginning that may well help you. Please, can I have some guidance regarding my spiritual journey? Okay, I'm going to turn your card first. On this night, I feel my soul connections growing stronger than ever, like bright stars. Okay, so your spiritual journey, I feel that you're very interested in mediumship. And what I feel more than anything is that your heighten of your energy is night. Now, unfortunately, my heighten of my energy is night. And last night I was creating till 2 o'clock in the morning because time just disappears when I'm in my artistic zone. What I would say is that the most important thing for you to do right now, Diamond Deb, is to sit in the power. You may have heard this before, but it's sitting in the night time or in the evening when everyone's gone to bed, everything's quiet. Now, whether they live with you or outside of you, you still need the quiet, you need the peace. Sitting with your, as comfortable as you can be, if you can with your legs crossed, setting your intention to your guides to come close. First of all, just closing your eyes and just asking your guides to come close and just feeling that change of energy. Now, this needs to happen over and over again. So this is like sitting for maybe 5 minutes to start with. When you're comfortable with your 5 minutes, maybe per day if you can, if not per week, but set your own rota. So set your own plan, but stick to it, because dedication will be rewarded by your spirit team. And I know this as a fact. The more you work with them, the more patience and practice you put into it, the more you will be rewarded by their connection and the information they give to you. So sitting for 5 minutes, you have a house full. Wait till they're all asleep. I have one husband and one daughter. So 10 o'clock at night, he's in bed and I'm sitting there doing my thing. So it's a case of sitting in that power for 5 minutes. When you feel comfortable with your 5 minutes, change it to 10 minutes. Put a very quiet alarm on or a vibration on your phone, maybe a gentle vibration just to bring you back to the room. And the important thing is to not have expectations. Do not think that you're suddenly going to experience a man come into your energy or a woman energy, or you're going to see things in your mind, or there's going to be a mist or sound. Just sitting is the key. Just sitting. It took me 9 years of sitting on a regular basis. I'm not saying it's going to take you that long, but to really connect with spirit. And the moment I really connected with them was the moment I really surrendered to the moment. And I just sat there in this power. And first of all, they lifted my left arm on 1 week and put it down again. And the second week, they lifted my right arm. And that's when I really knew that I had that connection. But it was years and years of me wanting to see fairies, wanting to do this, wanting to have that, wanting to have this experience I thought everyone else had. But really, it does take some time. It takes that communication, that connection. And the more and more you sit, the more you'll realize what's your energy and external energy. And then you'll be able to work with the sensitivities that are coming in much clearer. I am starting an open circle this week, every Monday at 7 o'clock. If you were interested, please do let me know. That would be lovely. But really it is to do with that individual communication with your spirit team. Try not to do loads and loads of courses all over the place, because it gets to a point where you've done enough courses and the connection needs to be an individual one. And when I say individual, obviously sitting in a circle with a group of individuals, but it's still your own individual experience that you're working on. Okay, thank you very much, Diamond Deb. I hope that made some sense for you. So I'd like to introduce the shows that are coming up, please, Mr. Producer. So thank you for all that are watching. So over 10 years, don't give up. It took me, I think it was 9.5, 10 years to really grasp mediumship. But I do feel the slow burners, you know, maybe there's something in that. Maybe there's something in the learning you have in that slow burning. But don't give up. Don't give up. You don't need to. It's just to do with confidence. It's to do with you feeling that energy difference and blending with the spirit world. Okay, so this evening at 8 o'clock, we have the lovely Matt and Kirsty, and they will be answering your spiritual questions, fairly similar to what you've been doing here, but on a different level, not level, that's the wrong word, but in a different way. We all work in different ways. They will be turning cards and giving readings for those that their questions get chosen. And beautiful couple, so much knowledge and so much information within them, as well as personal experience, and they're really funny as well. So please do consider joining them at 8 o'clock. That would be amazing. So I've got room for one more, Mr. Producer. Who would you like to choose? So they got a question that catches your eye. Yep. Okay, I'll work with Siobhan. So Siobhan's got a question that's really interesting, and I think it's really important to answer, actually. So do Spirit expect you not to doubt at all? Do they understand at times it's easy to fall off the track? So the important thing to understand with your spirit team is that you are the human person that's around a spiritual being. Okay, so you're a human shell of a spiritual being. Your spirit team is something completely different. If you go back to what I was saying earlier, you cannot have a friendship without trust. If I didn't trust Mr. Producer to not like sell my images and make loads of money out of me in a kind of twisted way, which I don't believe he's ever going to do, but if I didn't trust him, I couldn't work with him. We couldn't be friends. We couldn't have this relationship in this professional way or in a personal way. So it's really important to understand that trust is the key. Now, yes, you can doubt, but if you doubt yourself, you're effectively doubting the relationship of the spirit world and your spirit team. So what you're doing is you're dissolving that friendship. Now, I know, Siobhan, I've seen you work. I know 100% you are an incredible spiritual worker, okay, energy worker. Everyone you read for, as one of my students in the past said to me how amazing your readings were. What I would suggest is worth doing is, if you're doubting your link to spirit, do test readings. Keep your finger in the pie. I don't know if that's the right word for this one, but create yourself a small group. Ask people you know that you trust not to be unkind, that you trust to be honest with you, to be in that group. Maybe even use past students, use past people who joined us with our events, and do the readings, but ask for feedback. Get yourself some reviews. If you're not trusting yourself with this experience, if you don't trust your guides, you can't work with them, because you're just saying, well, you know, the voice in my head that's saying Matthew and showing me a blue car, oh, well, that's just my imagination. Well, I'm here to tell you, as a medium and a psychic, it's the imagination that translates the information. You know, they don't have a clipboard that they put in front of me and says Matthew with a blue car. They give him images to my mind. They give impressions to my body. They give impressions to my senses. So yes, they understand very much that you can fall off the track of trust, but you can't work with your spirit team without trust. It's essential, and especially in mediumship, because with mediumship, you have the recipient that's waiting for their loved one to have that message. You have yourself again, but otherwise practice, get reviews, get feedback, and know that the spirit world, you know, they love you no matter what. It is about love. It is about compassion. But the connection, the communication does need trust. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. I'm just going to turn a card for you. And it says, may I channel my angel guides to show me the right path to move forward. Now, I know you've worked with angels before, so maybe this is something that you could work with yourself, just requesting help from your angels to show you the way forward and to bring back that feeling. Now, the thing is, when we don't work in a spiritual way for some time, we can feel that we don't have it anymore, or that connection isn't anymore. But sound's gone, she's saying. You'll need to rewatch it, darling. It'll be back on. But it's a case of knowing that your spirit team are always there to support you. So I hope you've all enjoyed the first show of 2021. I'm Indigo Creative Clairvoyant. You can find me on Facebook. Also find me on Indigo's Oracle on Instagram, and Indigo's Oracle on YouTube as well. Please do share out the word of spirit from Spiritual Psychics TV. Consider becoming a patron. Patrons get special invites to special events. They also get to support this wonderful channel, which is remaining free on the donations of our patrons. So thank you very much. Myself and all the readers on here, all the workers on here, work for the greater good, for the benefit of the people rather than profit. We do offer private readings, and you can contact me for those if you choose. VIP members get £5 off their readings with me, so there's a benefit there for you. It's really important that you understand that the spirit